Mike Moore Media.
On our media line, I'm checking in with our friend Steve Scott, president of Tri-Statesteele in Reidsville. Off to a good start for the week, I'm sure. Steve, as always, how are you?
I'm doing well, Mike. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Always enjoy our monthly get-together here, and we have several things we want to talk about. But first, an event coming up next week, something the city of Reidsville and the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce are doing, and you're involved in that. Tell us a little bit more about the Place Your Bet on Reidsville series, what this is about, and why it's so important.
Absolutely, Mike. Before we do that, and I was remiss not to mention to this earlier, but our prayers and concerns for everybody up in Eden and the south side of Virginia from the storms this past weekend. That was some scary stuff, and we certainly hope everyone's doing okay. And thank you to the first responders and everybody who was out in it trying to keep everybody safe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Steve.
Yep, absolutely. So the Place Your Bet on Reidsville series is a three-part series being put together by business leaders in the community. It's headed by City Manager Summer Woodard, and it's really the brainstorm of Chamber of Commerce President Diane Sawyer here in Reidsville, and it is an opportunity to show everyone that this 29 corridor, as we used to know it, which it will soon be Interstate 840, that's leading from Greensboro area, Raleigh area, and now with the new 840 loop open, the Winston-Salem area, to Danville. On your way to Place Your Bet in Danville, you are going to be coming through the city of Reidsville. And it is a very busy little community right now, and every time we turn around, there's something else being built and something else being talked about, and it's an opportunity for the city leadership to say, if you want to do business here in Reidsville, now's the time. Don't wait, because things are really, really popping, and I think they did a great job of using the casino excitement to create interest in this three-part series that they're doing. The first part has already been done. It was a very successful meeting. They had a roundtable discussion about bringing things into Reidsville. The second part here is June the 15th. It's a lunchtime meeting, and it is about why Reidsville. Why is Reidsville the place to be right now, and how can you take advantage of it? So then the third part, which I believe is in September, will be a conversation about, if you want to come, if you're excited, here are some people who own land, here are some real estate people, here are people that can connect you to the community, and let's find solutions.
This is an outstanding opportunity, really, to showcase Reidsville, Rockingham County, the good things that are going on. And there are a lot of good things happening, aren't there, Steve?
There really are. It's not just Reidsville. Although we're located here in Reidsville, so we always talk about Reidsville first by happenstance. But everybody, the west side is booming. Even what they're doing in the Leakesville part of Eden, and I'm sure that Draper and Spray will catch on, is really remarkable. They've really changed the way it looks over there, and I think the whole county is excited. I know that there are rumblings of some more industrial announcements. That I think that things are just going to continue to go and go and go, and I'm not sure that psychologically everyone's quite as ready for it as maybe they're going to be when it kind of really pops. And I do think it's really going to pop. You don't have to go anywhere in this county. Go out 135, go out 770. Everywhere you look, there are things being built. And certainly Freeway Drive in Reidsville. Everywhere you turn around, somebody's building something else.
That's exactly right. It is exciting to see the growth And I'm thinking, you mentioned Interstate 840, and I'm thinking back, and we're kind of looking at, and we're poised to do some things now for future growth here and things that will affect generations to come. But, it's kind of interesting sometimes, Steve, to, I think, take a perspective back at the movers and the shakers and the visionaries 30, 40 years ago or more that had had that vision to just kind of see where we were going in the future. And now you look at what's happening in Guilford County and all the growth and all of that the planning was done on that a long time ago. Same here in Rockingham County.
Sure. I know a little bit more about the history of Reidsville than I do the rest of the county, but it was the 1960s, I believe, when Arnold Robertson, who was with, back then it was First National Bank of Reidsville, pushed so hard to build Lake Reidsville and got it done. And without Lake Reidsville, we wouldn't have the water infrastructure in place to be able to do anything in this community. So it really goes back to days like that. And then when Greensboro grew so much and we had excess water and they didn't have any, we were able to use our water as a revenue source. So, yeah, the vision of some of those folks is probably not properly appreciated, and I know for sure Arnold Robertson was, I believe he was given the Longleaf Pine Award or whatever that award is for the state of North Carolina for contributions to the community. Those folks just probably aren't appreciated as much as we should as we look back on it, because you can't grow a town from 14,000 to 20,000. I don't know what Reidsville wants to become, but you can't grow it if you don't have water and sewer. And that's really important. And we've got the water, and I know that the city's looking at ways to increase the sewer lines to different areas so that we can grow, because you can't grow without infrastructure. Don Powell's talking about that. Every time I see Don Powell, he talks about infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Arnold. I'm thinking when I came here, Conrad Duncan was a member of the Rockingham County Commissioners, and just his insight into the future, and Keith Duncan now and what he's done. Just some of the main builders and the contractors and the people that not only move the dirt, but they move people in the right direction, it seems, a lot of times.
Yep, and change is not easy. It's hard, Mike, and we just aren't the same community that we were. We can't keep thinking about what we used to be, and we have to look forward to what we want to be.
Let's talk a little bit about the need is there for a lot of things we're doing in the housing and all of that as that continues to grow, but we still have a shortage of workers. Address that. Where are we in all of this, Steve?
Well, I know that RCC is going to be a part of this conversation on June the 15th to talk about workforce development. I know that they've had some successes. They are collecting a tremendous amount of sales tax money every month. I know that they are way behind due to weather issues from this winter on their workforce development center, but it's making progress. There is absolutely no question that all of us in our county are suffering from the lack of workforce. There just simply are not enough people to fill the jobs that we have. And I'm not even talking about entry-level jobs. I'm talking about all kinds of jobs. I was speaking to a young man who just graduated from RCC's machining program recently. He's 20 years old. And I believe he told me he had 6 job offers. And some of them were in the county, some of them weren't. And he's actually taking a job with a company based here in the county. And one of the companies that he turned down told him, and I don't think they were here in the county, but the story is still worthy of hearing, that they are so concerned because 72% of their company's workforce is going to retire in the next 3 years. And they are desperate to find machinists. That's kind of scary stuff, Mike, but it's the same way. I was talking to a company that deals in finding accountants, and they told me that they are 100,000 accountants short in the eastern United States right now who could be employed right now.
100,000 short.
Accountants.
Yes. Wow.
Machinists, welders. It's not just entry level, although entry level is important too. We need truck drivers desperately. We're hiring ourselves for warehouse workers. We're hiring for an accounting clerk. We need salespeople. It's tough, and I'm not sure what the answer is. There are people above my pay grade who are working really hard on this, but I don't know that there's any answers. It's not just a Rockingham County problem.
Mm-hmm.
As you and I have talked, my youngest graduated from vet school recently, and there aren't enough vets, not even close. I think Reidsville's down to maybe one vet company.
Mm-hmm.
It's unsettling to think about how we're going to fill all these jobs that we have coming in. We have Farmina coming. We have Purina coming. Just those two. In Danville, we have the casino that I think I saw that is going to need 1,600 employees. And then, of course, you and I have talked the Berry Hill project. If that goes, and we all think that it's going to, very much sooner than later, you will be looking like the Toyota plant down in Liberty, thousands upon thousands of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they come from? Where do the people come from? Where are they going to live? The need for housing is astronomically important. You can't have housing if you don't have water and sewer. Back to the infrastructure conversation. So the idea of growth is great, but you can't just grow without some forethought. And I think that touches to your conversation earlier about people who came before us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's just one part of the whole picture here, of course. Before we, and I want to commend the leaders at Rockingham Community College for they're putting together that workforce development center that been years in the works, but that's all coming together. And you mentioned that machinist program. I've heard so many good things about that, and we're so fortunate to have Rockingham Community College right here doing all of the good things they're doing, aren't we?
Yeah, I deal mostly with Jennifer Lester, and I don't know if you know Jennifer
I do,
or not.
yes. Yeah, she's great.
She is one of the most fantastic people I have ever known.
Mm-hmm.
Her heart, she just gives all of it to this community. And so, you start talking about the people who are going to be on the thing on the 15th in the city of Reidsville, and you're talking about Jennifer Lester and Diane Sawyer and Summer Woodard, and these people are just pouring all of themselves into trying to find solutions. And I commend all of them. And, of course, then we have Lance and Lee and the folks out at the county, and I know the people up in Eden are working really hard. So there's a lot of people that are really putting everything they can, all their chips in, to try to give our county the opportunity for growth.
And those people that are making that happen, certainly you are at the top of that list, Steve Scott at Tri-Statesteele, for your insight and your business knowledge and the way you make things happen too. So we'll take a moment here because time is almost up. So thank you for that, Steve.
I appreciate it, Mike. Thanks so much. We're definitely on that list of people who are trying to grow our businesses. There's no question about that.
Definitely, and we appreciate that so much. Okay, we'll talk again. Thank you, Steve.
Have a great day, Mike.
You too. That's our friend Steve Scott, president of Tri-Statesteele. When we get to talking, we needed another little bit of time on that. Place your bet on Reidsville. That's a three-part series. Part 2 is coming up with the city of Reidsville, the Chamber of Commerce, June 15th. That's 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Penrose Park Country Club. You can find out more on that on the Chamber website. And you can find out more about Tri-Statesteele in Reidsville. They're hiring Check out their Facebook page and their website at tri-statesteele.com. Making things happen in Rockingham County.